I went from $0 to debt-free in 5 years. Hi, my name is the Sustainable Doula Abby. I am a birth and postpartum doula. I am a birth and postpartum doula on my certification journey through Doula International. I am in support of all on their birth and postpartum journeys by building sustainable futures alongside them if they so desire. This is a video I never thought I would be able to make in my life. I have only ever known living paycheck to paycheck. From what my mother has told me is that even in her situation, she's only really ever known living paycheck to paycheck. And now I'm debt-free. That's a weird feeling to have and to say. And I did it myself. It was not easy. Not only did I do it, I did it in 5 years. My original goal was to do so in 10 years. The first thing of how I made this work. I do want to preface that my version of debt-free is student debt-free. I have never had a credit card. I have never taken out a personal loan. I've had student loans, but I have never taken out a personal bank loan. So I do not have that experience. I know there are many who have credit card debt or loan debt, etc. skyrocketing. My student debt was $40,000. I know my student debt is nowhere near those who are attending higher education. I am well aware that my student debt is not as much as many others. I guess step one in how I avoided any additional debts is maybe you don't have to have a credit card. If you do, utilize your credit card for emergencies or big purchases only. If you can avoid credit cards or accumulating a credit card debt, avoid it. If you have it, pay it off. Otherwise, that interest will bite you in the butt. That is what I did not want to bite me in the butt. I did not want to get hit with interest growing and growing and growing. The numbers that I've seen people have finally paid off once they're finally done is exponentially more than what their original debt started at. I didn't want to get to that point, so that was my goal. I wanted to speed through this. Is it a good thing? I don't know. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Did it work for me? Yeah, it did. Will it work for you? I'm not sure. Talk to your financial advisor. I did not talk with a financial advisor. Step 2, how did I get debt-free so fast? I paid. I would make it a goal of my demanded $450 monthly fee. I would make it a goal to overpay. My target goal was $600 a month. So I started overpaying because, again, I didn't want that interest to just keep going and going and going. And the more I overpaid, the more it fed into the interest fee. So take that as you will. Again, this is what I did. Others may scream and be like, why did you do that? But that's what I did. And I didn't stop there. I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I started trying to, I say trying because I was failing, trying to build a savings account, and my goal was to hit $1,500 as an emergency fund. I didn't hit that goal and keep that goal until, I want to say, 2019 or 2020. I graduated in 2015. I'm not proud of that, but again, I'm where I am right now. I would spend. I still have a bad spending habit. I have worked really hard on it, but I would just spend my money. Oh, I want this special thing to eat, spend it. Oh, I'm feeling bad, I need some retail therapy, spend it. This random little knick-knack thing here and there, spend it. Let's see. Oh, H&M just ate my money up. Oh, it ate my money up. And I look back now and I regret. I look back now and I regret almost every single dollar that I spent at H&M. Almost every single article of clothing that I purchased at H&M, I don't own anymore. What was the value of my dollar that I earned, that I worked all of those hours for, to spend it and waste it and then get rid of it? Part of being sustainable is a sustainable budget. Part of being sustainable is adding value to your life by valuing your dollar. Value the work that you did for something that actually means something to you. So, overpay. And the next thing, my little step 3, is stop spending. Like I said, I'm still working on this, but it was something that I did. So my challenge for myself was, one of the first things is, well, I have like shopper's guilt or whatever it's called. Basically, if I walk into a physical store, I feel like overcome or obligated or whatever, that the word I'm looking for is, that I had to buy something because I came into the store and I'm wasting their time. That's not what happened. That's not what I need to be doing at all. So I recognized that eventually, over years, I recognized that if I was going to stop spending my money needlessly at H&M, is I had to stop going. So stop going to where your bad habits go. And yeah, occasionally I would walk in and I'm like, ooh, I gotta buy something, I need to buy something. No, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. And it was a little celebration that I had for walking out if I had nothing in my hands. How sad is that? But it was something that I needed to do. And then I eventually learned about the unethical practices. Research it if you would like. So I stopped shopping at H&M and there was a baked goods, buying all the sweets and the treats and the baked goods. So I stopped buying them. How I did this, I wasn't trying to stop eating sugar. If I wanted that cookie, if I wanted that cake, gluten-free, I have celiac disease, so it exists, is how my mentality was. It exists, it's new, a new product, I gotta try it. If I wanted that thing, I could have it. If I made it. Oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to. Okay, then you can't have it. Oh, but I want it. Okay, then go make it. Fine. And then I wouldn't, for the most part, because I'm lazy. So stop spending if it's your bad habits. For me, it was snacks and H&M. Again, as I moved into sustainability, I started looking at my refrigerator and I kept throwing away so much food. Oh, I bought it, never ate it, throw it away. Oh, it's gone bad, throw it away. This, that, and the other thing, throw it away. It was constant. I didn't stop buying food, but I stopped buying snacks. I stopped buying junk. I stopped buying that one thing for this one meal that maybe I might make. I started forcing myself to buy, if I wanted to make a meal, I was gonna make it a large bulk meal and forced myself to eat that bulk meal. At the time, one of my favorite things that I would make was melon prosciutto pasta with an herbed goat cheese. It was very good. Make the meal in bulk. Are you getting into things? Mm-hmm. When you are shopping, be more conscious about what you are buying, especially when it comes to groceries. I started buying loose bulk things when I could at Pre-Cycle in New York. They also had eggs and they had tofu in loose bulk. So you just bring in a container, fill it up, pay by weight, etc. So that is another thing that I started doing, is I would buy containers or a dozen to 2 dozen eggs, and that was my protein, and it was cheap. And it fed me, so I would eat a ton of eggs on rice, a ton of tofu on rice, and I would just season it, ridiculously season it. I'm talking like 12 different spices and herbs, and I still eat that to this day, because it's still good. I almost ate egg on rice for a year straight. So that's not I'm alive, I'm pretty healthy. Is that something that I would suggest for everyone? No, especially if you have deficiencies and such. I have vitamin D deficiency, so please eat to your body's needs. With this loose bulk, I would get dried apricots, I would get cashew, I would get nuts. They had loose bulk vegan chocolate chips, which was amazing. That was another time when I wanted the sweets. Oh, I wanted the treats and the sweets and the baked goods. And so I'm like, no, you can't go and buy that, and I'm too lazy to make it. But I have these chocolate chips in my little jar, so I would just get it. I thought it was semi-sweet vegan chocolate chips. Yeah, so it was kind of dark chocolate-ish, so a little bitter. And I would put like a little handful in the palm of my hand, and I would just eat that little handful or whatever. And because dark chocolate or semi-sweet is a bit richer and less sweet, less sugar, you kind of filled up on that need more because of the richness. So eventually I ate less sweets. Eventually got to the point where I actually kicked my sugar craving. Am I at that point in my life right now? No, I'm not. My sugar addiction is strong right now. In that loose bulk dedicated time frame pre-COVID, I realized that foods that were packaged were more expensive and processed than buying intentionally when I went loose bulk shopping. Because I cut out all packaged and processed foods over the course of 8 months, I lost 18 pounds. That was an added bonus I was not expecting at all. I have since put that weight back on, mind you, because I went back to eating packaged foods. Just saying, I don't know, something about it. Suspicious. I think so. So I was controlling my food budget. I was controlling my random expenses budget. I stopped buying makeup. I know, blasphemy. I stopped buying makeup. As you can see, I don't wear makeup. So the more money that I wound up holding on to, for me, it was a problem if there was money in my checking account, basically. So what I would do is I would put a dedicated $100 into my savings, and then I would leave a dedicated $100 plus a little extra for whatever the bills were. But a dedicated $100 would be for me to buy whatever groceries that I wanted, or snacks that I wanted, or a random little thing that I wanted. But that was my dedicated me $100. Any extra money that I had went to my student loans. So there would be times when I would be paying the monthly fee of the $450, depending on what I had left, depending on how many of the bills or whatever happened, emergency expense, whatever, up to $1,400 a month. And as I continued to work on my spending habits, and as that kept going, it became my minimum goal / challenge for myself was $1,200 a month. And very quickly, my 10-year goal became a 6-year goal. And my 6-year goal dwindled down month by month by month, as I could see that finishing line come closer and closer and closer. The blessings and difficulties of 2020, a huge thing that jumped the game was that on top of the $1,200 that I was doing on my own, we got the stimulus check, and I put it immediately into my student loans. Any additional money, that's another thing. Oh, any money that I got back from my tax refund went into my student loans. Everything. Every additional every additional money that I obtained, it went into my student loans. My student loans did build my credit. Those who say you have to have a credit card to build your credit, it's not true. Maybe to get it higher than my own, yeah, my own is fine. It's not fantastic. There's another reason for that. During all of this nonsense, we bought a house. I was not the financial backer of the house. In this conversation is not something that I will factor, but it did hit my credit pretty hard. My credit was good, and I was happy and then my credit got hit, and now it's fine. Or almost 5,000 or whatever was suddenly 3,000 plus. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. This is me. I've done this. Admittedly, on my birthday, my partner did cover that last amount, but I was on track to finish my student loans by myself. I paid him that money back, by the way. That way, no more interest would be accumulating over the last few months. But I did that 3,000 to 5,000 between April to September to him, no additional interest accumulating. And September was my end goal anyway. That was what I was on track for anyway. September 2015 is when I had to start paying my student loans. Also, I would suggest starting to pay into your student loans before you have to start paying into your student loans. Like as soon as you graduate, if you're able to, do that, because the interest is already accumulating. Sucks. If you can, do that. So from September of 2015 until September of 2020, I completed 40,000 and some because interest. I think it reached 49,000 because of interest. That sucked. But yeah, so nearly $50,000. I did it in 5 years. Going from struggling, starving, there were points where I didn't eat for a couple of days. It was an interesting ride. But those are the things I did. I overpaid. I stopped spending. I changed my spending habits, started saving. Hopefully you found this video helpful, or maybe just interesting to see a different person and what they did. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll see you next time. My name is the Sustainable Doula Abby. You can follow me on Instagram at the Sustainable Doula, and for any professional business or client services, you can email me at sustainabledoula@gmail.com. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.